Hi everybody, welcome back. Tony again with Shinsho Yoga, and for this week's video I'd like to talk about the concept that there are no shortcuts to enlightenment. What do I mean by that? Well, let's start with a little story. So recently I had a student in one of my classes come up to me at the end of class and ask me what I was reading during class. So I bring a book bag, like I'm in 8th grade, to my classes that I teach with different books that I will read from, whether they are Buddhist books like Thich Nhat Hanh or Suzuki Roshi, or if they are Trungpa Rinpoche, or they might be things like Don Miguel Ruiz, The Mastery of Love, anything along those lines, and poetry. There's poems I read. I'm always often a big fan of Max Ehrmann's Desiderata and the like that. So I will read from passages from these in class. So sometimes students like to ask me, hey, what are you reading from? So I was explaining to her the different books I was reading from, and she began talking to me about all of this and about meditation, and then we got into a whole thing about meditation and explaining how she had been places and they said it was a meditation, but it really just seemed to her like it was just sitting around. You really weren't doing anything, like there was just, it seemed like a facade, right? There really wasn't anything there to it. And she was earnest. I might not be coming across the way I would like to here, hopefully I am, but she was earnest in what she was saying. She wasn't saying that meditation or anything like that wasn't real. It's just what they were offering. So I got into a conversation with her about it and talked to her about having a formal, disciplined meditative practice, and the only way to really get anything out of meditation is to do that. That, having just some quick 5-minute guided meditation is not going to help you reach those spiritual levels. And as I got into the conversation about it, her demeanor shifted in that it seemed to be that she was looking for a quick fix, a quick answer, like, okay, I do this and I'm enlightened. I do this and I'm a spiritual life now. I do this and I'm connected to the universe. It does not work like that at all. There is no magic button to any of this. There is no, as the commercials used to say when I was a kid, ancient Chinese secret, right? None of that is true. The path to this is long. And if that scares you initially, your viewpoint needs to shift. Because in spirituality, everything is about the process. Everything is about the process. It is not about the goal. In our world that we live in, if you live in the West, and look, I've traveled, I've done work in Africa, I've been to other countries, worked in Africa many times, I've been there 8 times, and I can tell you that it doesn't matter where you go, the higher they get up in the economic ladder that people are, the more they become focused on the goal. They have somewhere to reach. Our society in the West here is highly competitive, and everyone is trying to reach a goal. There is no goal like that in spirituality. There is no goal in spirituality. In yoga, the goal of yoga is the process of yoga. The goal of yoga is the process of yoga. Doing yoga is the goal of yoga. Not to get limber, not to burn calories, not to find God. All of those things are ancillary to the process, meaning that if you focus on the process and do the process with genuine and authentic intentions just to be the best version of yourself that day and that moment you can be, all those other things will come. But if you're doing it trying to get there, you never will. That's how it works. Now, I didn't write these rules. These are the rules that I've learned from the universe. Because any spirituality, even religions, right? If you get to the core of the religions, right, of who taught the religions, I'm not talking about all the ancillary that gets added over the years. The core of them, right, is going to be about the process. If you are a Christian and you read the book of Matthew and you read the words of Jesus, you'll see he talks about that too. Not in the exact same way that I'm presenting it here, not the same way it may be presented in yoga, but it's talking about things like, as using that as an example where Jesus says, why do you worry about what you're going to eat? Doesn't your Father provide for the birds and the bees? Doesn't he give them homes and food to live in? Why would he forsake you, his greatest creation, and only give it to birds and bees? Don't worry about what you're going to eat and where you're going to live. Don't focus on any of those things. Just serve him. Now, that can be interpreted a lot of ways. I'll tell you how I hear that, right? The hard lines will turn it one way, I go this way. It's the same way that I have heard it through Buddhism or anywhere else. Don't worry about those things, right? Don't worry about that goal. Live the best life that you can. And the best life you can doesn't mean having the nicest car and the nicest home or any of those things. It's about living in a genuine and authentic life, being present in the moment and helping others, living a life of service. Right? I'm not saying you're supposed to in a life of service, if you misunderstood that, and that you're supposed to become a servant in someone's home or you're supposed to be used by people. A life of service is meaning that you are here to give of yourself. Of course, you receive at the same time. It's circular or spiral. Spiral is the better one. You give, right? And then you receive. And you give and you receive. And it keeps moving forward. Right? If you want to reach the higher levels of spirituality, if that is a concern of yours, and which is not a concern of mine anymore, like everyone else, I started, I want to be more of a spiritual, conscious person, all those things. Just practice. Just practice. Genuinely, authentically, consistently. Just practice. All of those things will come from it if you practice genuinely and authentically and consistently. If you live the life, it will come. It will not come the way you think it's going to come in our world, like, you go into work one day and you get a promotion. It doesn't work that way. Just little by little, things will start to shift and change in your life. And they'll be subtle. And you just need to pay attention to them and continue on that path, and that groove in your life will start to get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then at one point you may turn around and look back and go, who is that person all the way in the back that thought this way? I don't know them anymore. They're not me. There are no shortcuts to enlightenment. And there's no reason for it, because the concept of this goal that is here is not the spiritual concept. It's not the universe's concept. It's not God's concept, if that's the word you want to use. I say it that way in the videos here. I talk about saying whatever word you use because I don't know how you were raised and what your religions were raised, and maybe the concept of God doesn't speak well to you. How I was initially raised. Later on, the word would bother me because of the people that I associated with. I've changed the association of that word for me right now. But for a long time, I just said the universe. So however it speaks to you, whatever it is, whatever word works for you, the universe has laid it out, that there is no goal, this is no race. We're not looking to beat anyone. We're not looking to get ahead of anyone. We're not looking to make it to the end of this one. We're not looking to get enlightened over this one or this and that. We're looking to live a genuine and authentic life, be present in the moment we're doing, enjoying it and helping each other. And that's it. That's it. But there's no shortcut to it. It just takes work. Consistent, genuine, and authentic work. So, as I always say, take from that what serves you and get rid of the rest. But that doesn't mean take what's comfortable and get rid of what's uncomfortable, because we often need what is uncomfortable to grow. In the end, just look to be present in the moment here and breathe and follow your breath. Let the thoughts arise, let them pass by, and you return to the breath. That's all I've got for today. Thanks again for watching. Namaste.